When it comes to main waterline breaks underground, the big question is, where is it coming from? Is it your problem? Is it the city's problem? Is it under the house? Is it in the house? Is it from the meter to the house? Or is it at the meter? That's one of the biggest questions there is when it comes to underground water leaks or any leak whatsoever. Here, we came out for a leak detection. As you notice here, water is coming all the way out from under the driveway. It's also coming out from the right side of the house as well as the left side of the house. And this has been going on for quite some time. Homeowners have noticed a skyrocketed water bill over the last few months. On top of that, they're using 120% more gas than usual and than what is normal, which tells me water's being ran and gas is being ran. There has to be a hot water line leak under this house. Now, if you look at this house here, this is relatively a new house here in Antelope, California, only about 30 years old. The water line should be ran inside the walls. At some point, I believe somebody ran the hot water lines underground. And now we're dealing with those consequences now. First things first, when we want to diagnose this problem, we want to go straight to the meter and start. Now that we're at the meter, we want to see, where is this water coming from? Come take a look at this meter here. You're going to go ahead and see it's a digital water meter. It shows water being ran. Notice those last digits changing, 8.85, 8.88, 8.91. There is water being ran in this house. Now, what I want to do is isolate. Is it coming from this meter up to the house? First things we want to do to isolate that and identify if it's coming from outside is shut off the main to the house. Come take a look. Right here, we have a main shut off to the house. Willie has already upgraded this from a gate valve to a ball valve. We're gonna go ahead and shut this off. Now, there's no more water that's gonna be going from here into the house. There's only gonna be water trapped from here to the meter. Let's go check the meter and see if it stopped running. Let's take a look at this meter. We're at 9.86. Notice it's not moving at all, which tells me the leak is not from the meter to the house. If those numbers were still running, the leak would be from the meter to the house, which is outside. Go ahead and keep a look on this. I'm gonna go ahead and open up the valve and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. There we go, 6.6697275. So now that we have the valve opened and we closed it, we've identified that the problem is not from the meter to the house. That means the problem is inside the house. If the problem is inside the house and your pipes run through the walls, if there is any water leaks in there, if it's in the walls, you will know because your house will be flooded. In this case here, the house isn't flooded, so there has to be a leak underground, which takes us to a more intrusive leak detection performed by Monique here in Sacramento. We're gonna go ahead and go to our next step. Now that we've identified that the leak is not from the house to the meter or vice versa, there's no leak in the main here, we're gonna go ahead and shut off the emergency shut off above the water heater and relieve some pressure from the water heater to get out some of that hot water. If this meter stops, we've identified our water leak to be on our hot water lines within and under the house. Take a look here. We're reading at 3.52, 3.55, 3.58. Follow me over here to the water heater. We're gonna go ahead and shut it off, and if it stops the water, we're getting closer and closer to our leak. So here we have our cold water inlet, which allows cold water to come into the water heater and hot water to go out. So what we want to go ahead and do is shut this off righty-tighty, as tight as we can. This is relatively old, so it might not close completely. But we're going to stop all the incoming water. Got that nice and tight. Now, I need to relieve the pressure that's in here because water will still be coming out. I'm going to open up the TMP valve just a bit. Let that water drain. Let's relieve the pressure from this tank. Then we're gonna go check the meter. If that meter is no longer running or not running as fast as it was, we're getting closer to our problem. Let's leave that open there. Let's go check out the meter. Let's wait for it to come up. .65. We have no movement on our meter, meaning no water is being used in the house. We're at 4.66. Notice now that we shut off the main. We shut off the main to the water heater. No more cold water is going into the water heater, and we relieved all pressure from the water heater. If our meter stopped once we close that valve, what does that mean? That means there's a hot water line that is leaking somewhere underneath this house because it is not inside this house. Our next step is to locate where that is and offer a solution and getting down to the repair. Now that we've identified the leak to be on the hot water side of the house and confirmed that it is indeed a slab leak underneath the slab foundation of this home, we need to move to our next measures of locating where that is. What we're gonna do now is turn the valve back on, let the water run as it has been. We're gonna use our general ear LE locator to try to pick up the sound coming from the ground. And we're gonna go ahead and check everything that is downstairs, the washing machine, the bathroom, as well as the kitchen. Those are the only things that are downstairs. Once we can pick up a sound and it seems like we know where we are and we're getting closer to our leak, we'll go ahead and detach everything here, add compressed air to the line, go back to our location where we think we hear it, and confirm whether or not we found our leak. Once we do find our leak, there's only one way about going to fix it, and that is going straight down through whatever is in our way. It's unfortunate, but nevertheless, we need to stop this leak and stop wasting water. So now that we've identified that the water leak is indeed a slab leak underground on the hot water side, we want to go ahead and confirm this a bit more before we make a final decision. If you come to the meter here, the meter is constantly running. This is a gas meter. Now, nobody in the house is using gas. There's no stove on, the heater's not on, no hot water is being ran as far as inside the house. Meaning that leak underground, which we've already identified to be on the hot side, is constantly using gas. Now, they are also up 120% of an increased usage of gas than what they normally use. Checking this here has also confirmed we have a slab leak underground on the hot side. Now we get to our next steps of pinpointing exactly where that is. Within about 5 minutes, we were able to pinpoint this leak. Now, we hear it underground. We're gonna do a few more tests to confirm it, which involve CO2 and gases. But nevertheless, as of now, we know the leak is underground, a slab leak on this home, which is under the foundation. It's on the hot water side. We've already confirmed that. Now we confirm the location. Here, we hear the sound. You could hear it. We use listening devices, which this one is by far the best out there. We can hear it. So now we need to confirm, is that where it's at? So what do? We shut off the valve to the water heater once again. As you slowly close the valve, we can hear the sound slowly decrease from closes. Open it, back and forth. Our next steps before we start jackhammering this laundry room is we're gonna go ahead and introduce compressed air, gases, and CO2, come above ground and see if we can pinpoint exactly where it is and get started on our project.